Good afternoon, everyone. It's time is 12 o'clock. Thank you for joining the Japan Foundation London's online event. My name is Junko Takekawa. I'm Senior Arts Program Officer of Japan Foundation London. Japan has a great tradition of performing arts. Three notable and recognized forms are Kabuki, Bunraku, and No, all of which you may be already be familiar with. In the 21st century, while the paths to a profession in most of these traditional art forms are still closed to outsiders, No is more open, and its entry requirements more relaxed so that anybody can take up practice, regardless of gender, age, as well as race. Having said that, becoming a professional is a long process of perfecting the skill over the course of many years. And then those who are born into the No lineage often have their future predetermined in order to keep this very intricate tradition alive. Today's speaker, Takafumi Takeda, born as the second son of Kanze school No family, No Shokai, is one example of such a person. Thanks to online streaming technology, we will be connecting Japan today. And for the first time at the Japan Foundation London, we will be becoming a No performer in speaking directly from his own house so that you, our audience, will be able to see the place where Takeda-san normally practices. After a brief introduction to No by Dr. Ashley Thorpe from Royal Holloway, University of London, who himself practices No, together with Takeda-san, and they will shine a light on the reality of the life of younger performer in No family in Japan. Takeda-san will be translated by Bethan Jones. Thanks also goes to Miss Yuna Shirakura, who introduced Takeda-san to us. I myself am very excited to hear Takeda-san's life story behind the No family tradition. Next, housekeeping matters. Today's event will be recorded. As we are using webinar function, your name will not be viewable by other attendees. However, I strongly recommend to keep your audio and video mute throughout, just in case. If you have any questions for the speakers, please use a Q&A function to send in your question at any time. There is a button in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. Remember, the attendee's question may be seen by anybody else, so that you can upvote a particular question placed by another person which you would like to answer, or if it is the same as yours. Simply click the thumb up icon next to the question you wish to upvote. Lastly, as always, we will send you the online questionnaire, so please spare a moment to complete it for a future event. Thank you, that's all from me. I hope you enjoy it, and then hand it over to Ashley for his.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are well. Before I begin, I'd just like to thank the Japan Foundation for arranging this talk. I feel in this time where we've experienced so much lockdown and isolation, it's really great for us to be able to come together and to come and together from around the world. So thank you very much. In this very brief introduction, I'm just going to spell out some of the main points behind No theatre. I'm sure that many of you who are watching today are already familiar with No, have maybe seen it, perhaps trained in it yourselves. Others of you perhaps are less familiar and have less working knowledge of how No works. So what I'm going to do in the first sort of 8 minutes or so is just to outline some terms of reference and just to outline some of the major things that would come up if you were to train in No theatre. So this is a very brief introduction to No. And I just thought I'd begin by offering you a very brief history. So No is perhaps not the longest continuing theatre tradition in the world, but it's certainly among them, having emerged in a form that's recognisable to today in the 14th century. There are lots of different theories about where it came from, but it's genuinely thought to have derived from an amalgamation of a number of different folk entertainments, including sangaku, sarugaku, and dengaku. And you can see the definitions of these on your screen. Perhaps a key figure in the development of No is Kanami, who was schooled in Sarugaku, but he developed a number of stylistic innovations. These were seen by the 17-year-old shogun, Ashikaga Yoshimitsu, and he then became a frequent performer for the shogun. He was a playwright, he changed existing dramatic structures, and established the kusei as the key element of a play. A kusei is sort of a very beautiful section of a no, appears in most no, where there is the dance and a kind of very poetic sentiment. It really brings together the section of a play. Kanami also led the Kansei troupe, and Kansei is now itself a school of performers in no, and Takeda Sensei, who we will hear from later, is a Kansei performer, and the Kansei school has direct lineage to this original Kansei troupe. Perhaps as significant, if not more significant, to the development of No was Kanami's son, Zeami, Motokyu, and he became a very favoured actor with Ashikaga Yoshimitsu. He inherited his father's troupe, and because he was immersed in court life, he was really steeped in the kind of court culture of poetry, art, and of Buddhism. He used these frames of reference to write treatises on performance, which are perhaps one of the most read internationally treatises on performance. He wrote a number of very famous plays and became celebrated as a fine actor in his own right. Despite this success, following Ashikaga Yoshimitsu's death, he fell out of favour, and towards the end of his life he was actually banished to Sado Island, which was where he died. So that's a kind of very brief outline of the antecedents and development of No. But I want to focus really in the last 5 minutes on the aspects of training as a kind of frame of reference. I think the main thing to bear in mind is that all of the elements that we're going to talk about are really fundamentally integrated. It's true that you can, for example, just read text. You could just learn to play a musical instrument. Equally, you could just learn the movement. And perhaps you could just look at how costume is made, what it means, and study mask. But really, to have a full understanding of No as a performer, you need to be able to understand all of these, but more crucially, understand how they interrelate with each other. So let's focus on text, first of all. Lines in a traditional No text are usually in 7 and 5 syllables. Not all of them, in fact, many of them aren't, but this is a kind of yardstick, a kind of point of departure for most lines in No, or they're in a waka form of 31 syllables. So for example, this is an opening line from a kusei in a play called Yuya, which Takeda Sensei is actually going to sing and perform for you later on. And you can see that actually it follows the 7 and 5 rule. Tera waka sura no, that's 7, hashi bashi ra, that's 5. So this is a fairly common textual device in No plays. Music really consists of 4 instruments in totality. There is the flute, or the nokan, which is the melodic instrument, really the only melodic instrument on stage. Then there is the small drum, or the court suzumi, which is a kind of shoulder drum, and it's played here. There is the otsuzumi, which is the hip drum, which has a larger kind of more kind of woody almost sound. It's a very kind of taut sound. And some plays, though not all plays, have a taiko, which is actually not the large kind of massive drum that perhaps most Westerners associate with the word, but actually a much smaller bound drum, which is placed on a stand and hit with 2 sticks. Voice obviously also counts as part of music, but it also relates to text. There are 2 forms of kind of vocalization in No. There is singing and recitation. Singing can take two forms, wagin, which is kind of melodic kind of singing, and gorgin, which is a more strenuous, I guess, compacted form of singing, less kind of melodic, much more dramatic, I would say. And then there's also something called kotoba, which is a kind of stylized form of speech. So an actor has to be able to do all of these to be able to perform a No in full. This is a Romanized utaibon, or kind of, I guess you could call it the closest thing there is to a script and a musical score. So you can see the text, which is running from top to bottom and from right to left. And you can see the text there. And in the top, actually the top right-hand corner, you can see Tera wa katsura no hashibashira, which was the 7 and 5 line I spoke about earlier. In terms of how the melody is notated, next to these little lines, which are called gomabushi, so sesame seed lines, sesame seed notation, there are melodic notes that you should begin in the middle pitch, go down to the lower pitch, come back up to the middle pitch, go down to the lower pitch. So actually, pitch can move around according to where you wish to put it, but actually at the end of the day, there are kind of flows and contours that must be adhered to. And these are things that you would learn from your teacher. In terms of movement, of course is very stylized. It's a mixture of movements that might seem quite lifelike, but equally these lifelike movements might become abstracted. So it's very much a question of how they relate to the text and whether they are describing a mood more generally or actually trying to illustrate something that's being discussed in the text. But of course the fan is the most significant, I wouldn't even call it a prop, it's so fundamental to what you do and how you express on stage that most characters will use a fan. There are some plays where the character is asked to carry something else. Dances or movements are recorded in the utaibon, some versions of the utaibon at least, as published by the different schools, as diagrams. And these diagrams actually relate to the text. So you can see, for example, where I've circled numbers 1, 3, 4, 5. These actually tell you roughly where you should be on the stage at that point. So that there is, when you're dancing, a need to have learnt the text. If you don't know the text, then it's likely that you will be pulling the chorus out, or the chorus will have to slow down. Having said that, that kind of dynamic is very important. It's not that the dancer has to follow the chorus, nor is it that the chorus follow the dancer. It's actually a negotiation between the two. And the more advanced professionals, the people who really do this for a living, are real masters at being able to judge how to utilize this flexibility for the most powerful dramatic impact. Finally, there's the costume and the mask. And when I'm teaching my students, the first thing they always ask is, where is the mask training? But actually all of this is already encoded into what the actor does. From the very beginning, this is a position called kamai, which is just standing. You can see that the body is tilted forward, and actually the head is slightly raised. So even from the very beginning of when you learn to stand, you're actually thinking about how you place the mask, how you position your body to enable the mask to really function to its best. And of course, the more advanced you are as a performer, the better control you have of that. And so here we see all actors in their full costume. And you can see how even the slightest change of the head completely changes the meaning and sensibility of the mask. So I think that's more than enough from me. I am going to finish my presentation here. And I am going to ask Takeda Sensei and Beppen to join us. Konbanwa. Good
こんに
afternoon.
ちは、こんばんは。関税流能楽師の武田貴文と申します。よろしくお願いいたします。
So I'd like to begin by asking you, these are very strange times we've been living in. Certainly in the UK, we were under lockdown for a very long time, and unfortunately some parts of our country have gone back into lockdown. But I wondered how you have been able to keep yourself busy in this strange time.
日本の方もですね、約3ヶ月間、能楽堂、能を上演する場所がですね、すべて閉まっておりまして、で、一応、緊急事態宣言というのが出されまして、基本的にはあまり、家の外に出ないようにとか、いろんな人に関わらないようにというのが出ておりました。で、じゃあ、はい。
Yeah, so in Japan as well, for the last 3 months, all the theatres where you would normally go to see a performance have been closed. We've been under a state of emergency. People have been told to stay at home, not to mix with other people.
その中で、能楽師ももちろんですね、公演をすべてなくなりまして、家にいる時間が多くなりました。で、私は、父も兄も能楽師をしておりましたので、この私の、父の家なわけですけども、私の家にもですね、能舞台がございましたので、ここのところでですね、Zoom を使いまして、ワークショップをしておりました。
And the performers, the no performers as well, have been at home an awful lot. We haven't had performances. So myself, my father, my brother, we're all no performers. And we have actually been giving no workshops over Zoom here. This is my father's rehearsal stage that he has in his house.
And can I ask if taking this kind of approach of doing more workshops on the internet via Zoom, does that open out Noh to new audiences, do you think? Or have you been able just to really keep in touch with your existing students?
大半がやはり能を一度は見たことある方というのがほとんどでございました。ですけれども、やっぱり中にはですね、やっぱりロックダウンになって学校もなくなりましたので、その中で何か新しい趣味をだったり、新しい日本文化を見てみたいっていう方もいらっしゃって、初めて能に触れる方もいらっしゃいました。
Most of the people coming to the online workshops are people who have seen No at least once. But because schools are closed, people are staying at home, some people are looking for a new hobby and they are wanting to learn something new about Japanese culture. And so we do have people attending for whom it will be their first experience of No.
How have they found their first experience?
初体験の方はどんなフィードバック、どんな感想がありますか？
そうですね、どんな感想、何があったかな。でもやっぱりこのZoom の機械ですと、やっぱりカメラを近づくに寄せることができるので、普段やっぱり客席から見る距離よりもずっと近い位置での装束であったり表であったり見ることができるので、やっぱりいい体験だったというふうには言ってくれました。
Because we're on Zoom, you're seeing the performers much closer up than you would do if you were seeing a No performance in a theatre. So you're getting a close-up of the mask, a close-up of the costumes, and a lot of people have appreciated that.
Thank you very much. I think it's really interesting, and perhaps we'll return a little bit later to thinking about how Noh will be sustained in the future. But I'd like to really begin by asking you about your own history and the history of your family in Noh. Could you tell us a bit about your family history?
はい、私は代々能楽師の家系でございまして、もともと私の先祖は武士をしておりました。なんですけれども、16世紀に戦争に敗れてしまいまして、それ以来、武士がその教養でお稽古をしていた能楽ということで、能楽の世界で生きていくということになりまして、代々能楽師をしております。私の祖父も父も兄も私も能楽師をしております。
Well, my family, my ancestors were actually samurai, but they were defeated in battle in the 16th century. And from then on, they decided to make a living as no performers, which was a part of the samurai culture. And it's been passed down through the family, through the generations since then. So my grandfather was a no performer, my father was a no performer, my brother, and myself.
Thank you very much. How old were you then when you first saw No? I mean, I imagine it was just sort of, you were surrounded by it almost as a baby.
はい、私、父が舞台を務めている時には私は伺っておりましたので、私が赤子の頃からですね、母に抱かれて、父の舞台を見ていたということで、いつから舞台を見ていたかっていう記憶すらないです。
I grew up, like you say, watching my father performing. So I was watching him in the cradle. I was watching him as a babe in my mother's arms. I really don't remember the first time I saw No.
How old then were you when you began training?
はい、能楽の場合ですと、大体その、歩けるようになったら、舞台で、すり足、能特有のすり足を教える。そして言葉が喋れるようになったら歌いを教えるというふうにしておりまして、私が初めて舞台に立ったのは2歳10ヶ月の頃でございます。
Well, in No, they say that as soon as you can walk, you will be taught suriashi, the No way of walking on stage. And as soon as you can speak, you will be taught how to chant. And so that's what happened in my case. The first time I stood on stage was at the age of 2 years and 10 months.
で、その時の写真を少しお見せしたいというふうに思います。
I actually have a photograph for you.
これがですね、一番最初の初舞台の写真がありませんで、1993年の10月、私が3歳10ヶ月の時の写真でございまして、これはおしまいと言って、玄城という曲をですね、お能ではおしまいと言いまして、お能の一部分を紋付き袴で上演する形態で、だいたい5分ぐらいの曲をいたしました。
So this, there are no photographs of my very first performance, but this is one from 1993. I would have been aged 3 years and 10 months or so, and this is Shimai. So it's me performing a part of a No play in plain clothes.
で、お能の初舞台というのがですね、その1993年の6月、初舞台は3月なんですけど、この写真は6月の写真になっていまして、クラマテングという曲のをさせていただきました。写真のこちら側になります。
So that performance you saw just now, that would have been just 5 minutes long. But this was my debut in a full-length No play later the same year in June of 1993. And this is me here in the red, the left hand of those two little boys.
でこのクラマテングという曲は京都の鞍馬山で、子どもたちがお花見をするようなお話でございまして、子どもたちがいっぱい出てきてお花見をするというお話になっています。ちなみにこの隣が兄になっております。私の兄ですね。この時が兄が6歳ぐらいになるかと思います。
This play called Kurama Tengu is set in Kurama Temple in Kyoto, and it's a scene where a lot of children go to Hanami, go to see the cherry blossoms. So it features a lot of children in this scene. And in the photograph on the right, you see myself, and that's my older brother standing next to me, who would have been about 6.
というのが私の初体験、初舞台の公演になります。
So that's my first experience of performing No.
How was the experience of training? And I think to be a professional, the understanding from the outside world is that it has to be very intense every day for many hours over a long period of time. Was that your experience, and how did you find that process of training in the first few years?
そうですね。やはりこう2歳から稽古はしてまして、最初はやはり普通はですね、大人になりますとやはりこう歌い本というふうに言いまして台本があってそれを読んで覚えるわけですけれども、2歳です言葉がまず文字が読めないものですので、オウム返しというお稽古方法になります。これは父が一言歌って、でそれを私がその一言同じように返す。でまた父が一言歌って。私が返すということを繰り返して、覚えていくということになります。この、オウム返しというのはですね、単純に節とか歌いを覚えさせるという以上にですね、やっぱり父が実際に歌を歌ってその歌いに流れる魂みたいなものをですね、直接子供に伝えるといったような意味があるのかなというふうに思います。まずはここまでお願いします。
When I started my training at the age of 2, well, normally as an adult, what you would do is you would have your taibon that you were talking about, your script. You would read that and you would learn it. But at the age of 2, you can't even read yet. So what we used to do was parroting. So my father would chant, would sing a phrase, and then I would copy that. I would repeat it, and we would do the same thing over and over again. And I think it's more than just learning the lines, learning the chants. It's also a way of transmitting the spirit of that utai, of that chant to the child.
そのためですね、やはりまずその嫌だっていう言葉を覚える前におのおの歌いを教え込まれたもので、その嫌だという感情が生まれる前にですね、お稽古をしておりました。で、その大変やっぱり、舞台は厳しいものも多くてですね、一応この舞台の稽古場にはですね、母は入室禁止になっておりまして、私と父2人だけで基本的な稽古を受けておりました。というのも、やはり母親がいると子供がそこに逃げてしまうと、逃げ場を作ってしまうと、稽古場にその稽古に逃げ場を作らないということでですね、父と2人っきりで稽古をしておりました。
I think at that age, I didn't even really know how to say no. Before I could even object, these chants were being drilled into me and I was already being trained. And it did get very strict. The rehearsal room, the rehearsal space was limited. Only myself and my father were allowed in there. My mother wasn't allowed to come in because if my mother had come in, that would have given me somewhere to run to. I would have wanted to run to my mother, but with it just being the two of us, there was nowhere to run to.
I think this idea of spirit is really interesting and important, and I can see on the chat boards that it's resonating with some people. I'm just wondering, I think that perhaps as amateurs, certainly when I'm working with my own students, they concentrate on copying, and all they want to do is to copy and get the form of the body right. But of course, technique can be empty. It can have no expression. So do you feel that actually by being molded in this environment of spirit, that in later life you look back and feel actually it's made you a stronger performer?
そうですね。私はその魂という言葉もありますけれども、一つ、能の大先輩からですね、それこそ私は10代の頃に伺った言葉で、印象に残っている言葉があります。それがですね、外を歩いている時にですね、風が吹いて柳が揺れたわけなんです。で、お前にはあれは何が見えるかというふうに聞かれて、風で柳が揺れておりますというふうに言いましたら、そうじゃないんだと。能楽はその風を表現する芸能なんだと。だからその揺れている柳ではなくて風を表すのが能楽なんだよっていうふうにおっしゃられたのがですね、大変印象に残っておりまして、そういうことなのかなというふうに思っております。
I think you're right about the spirit. There's something that I was told by a senior no performer when I was in my teens, I think, that I still remember to this day. We were walking outside and there was a willow tree that was shaking in the wind. And he said to me, what do you see when you look at that? And I said, well, I see a willow tree shaking in the wind. And he said, no expresses the wind, not the willow tree. And that stuck with me to this day.
That's a really nice image, isn't it? The idea that you are moving something rather than that which is being moved. I want to ask you about your memories of backstage. I think perhaps most people assume that to understand technique is all about being on stage and being able to dance very expressively. But also there seems to be so much to a performance around backstage, being able to be dressed and dress others, to know how to handle a mask, for instance. And I know that you have brought a mask with you. Could you just talk a little bit about how being in a Noh family has influenced you and shaped you in terms of how you operate backstage, and how that's important for you as an overall performer in Noh?
Nohの舞台裏のそうですね、お話にありましたように、今、表を一つお見せしたいというふうに思います。
You mentioned the mask, and you're right, I did bring one with me, so if I could show that to you.
今、表を開ける前にこのように表に向かって一礼をしましたが、これは先祖代々伝わっている表なので、その表に対して、そして伝えてきてくれた先祖に対して一つ礼をしてから表の袋を開けるというふうな決まりになっております。
And before I take the mask out, you'll see that I bow to the mask, and this is because this mask has been passed down through the generations, and it's a way of expressing my respect to the mask and to my ancestors who have handed this down to me.
特にこの能面というのはその演者の、いわゆる唾であったり汗がすごい染み込んでいるもので、その分だけその魂が宿っているというふうに考えていて、特別に大切に扱っております。
And this mask is very important. We take great care of them. The mask has really been exposed to the sweat and to the spit of the performers down the generations, and we believe that their spirit resides in the mask.
今回お見せしますのは若女という表になります。これはだいたい17世紀ぐらいにできたこの表自体17世紀の表になります。で、だいたい当時の年齢で19から20歳ぐらいの年齢の結婚するかしないかぐらいの年齢の女性の表になります。
The mask that I have here is called wakaonna, young woman. It dates back to the 17th century. And this is a young woman who is around marriage age, so 19, 20. She may or may not be married.
普段は多分この近さまで寄ることはないので、じっくりと。
And you really don't usually get the opportunity to see a mask this close up. So just take this opportunity to study it.
という感じが表になります。
So that's a mask.
How did you learn to manipulate the mask and really bring out its expression? I think perhaps it feels like that's the most mysterious aspect of Noh training, because most people don't have access to Noh masks in their own home, and so they don't really perhaps understand how you develop the skills to be able to really work a mask to its fullest effect.
はい。お能というのは、日本でもですね、能面のような表情という慣用句があります。これは、無表情を表す言葉になってはいるんですけれども、実は能面というのは中間表情という表情をしております。これどういうことかというふうに、どうぞ。
In Japan, we sometimes talk about having a no mask expression. And when people say that, they generally mean expressionless. But if you have a look, the mask does have a neutral expression.
ですね、この表がですね、中間表情というのは、笑っているのと泣いている表情が半分半分になっています。で、こう表を少し下に向けると、悲しんでいるように見えるんですね。
And this neutral expression is partway between laughing and crying. So if we tilt the mask downwards, it looks sad.
で、上向いてると少し喜んでいるように見えるんです。
And we tilt the mask upwards, and it looks slightly happier.
で、こういい表になればなるほどですね、こう数ミリのこの角度の違いによってですね、表情がコロコロ変わるということになります。
And with the best masks, a difference of a few millimeters makes all the difference to the expression.
ですので、先ほど先生がおっしゃられたすり足という、能独特の歩行方法がありますが、それというのは腰より上を一切動かさないという歩行方法になるわけですね。それをすることによって顔の表情が変わらなくするわけなんです。で、ここぞと悲しい時には下を向いて、ここぞと嬉しい時には上を向いてというふうにですね、上半身を全く動かさないからこそ、ここぞというところで表現ができるようになるということになっております。
I think the no way of walking, suriashi, sliding your feet forward, came up earlier. But when you're walking in this way, the top half of your body stays completely still. And the reason that needs to stay still is so that you can then tilt the mask upwards or downwards as necessary to convey the expression. And the movement of your upper body isn't going to get in the way of that.
It's a really beautiful mask.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
Could we move on to look at some of the other techniques that are important to know? Perhaps we could begin with utai, the kind of singing. What makes strong utai? What was the training like to help you develop your voice?
そうですね、歌いというのはやはり声帯なもので、この声帯を鍛える、声帯の筋肉ですので、いわゆる筋トレみたいな形でですね、年中歌うとかそういうことになるかとは思います。でこれもなんか西洋のオペラはですね、よくこの、頭をパカッと開けてこっちの方に音を出せみたいなことがあるかと思うんですが、おのの場合はどちらかというと胸部発声というふうに言いまして、胸を震わせるということになっています。というのも表をかけてしまいますので、口から出したんではですね、その表に当たってしまうんです。ですので胸を響かせる胸部発声というものになっております。
Well, the singing, the chanting, the utai is physical. It's all about how you use your muscles. And so it is a kind of physical training that you have to do to be able to chant, and you have to do it all year round. I believe in the West with opera singers, they're taught to sing from the top of their head. But with no performers, we are taught to sing from the chest. We have to make our chest vibrate. Because if all the sound, if you're just singing from your mouth, the sound that's coming out is hitting the inside of the mask. And so you really have to sing from down here.
でせっかくですので少し、歌いを歌ってみたいというふうに思うんですけれども、先ほどアシュレイ先生が例に取られました湯屋について歌わせていただこうというふうに思います。 アシュレイ先生が例に出していただきましたのは北流のお話になっておりまして、私は関西流でございますので、ちょっと始まる場所が違くなっております。
And if you don't mind, I'd like to give you a little example of a chant. This is Yuya, the chant that you mentioned in your presentation at the beginning, Ashley. But because I'm from the Kanzenryu school and you're from the Kitaryu school, it's going to be slightly different.
今回、関西流の歌い本をちょっとお持ちしたんですが、アシュレイ先生は、寺は桂野というところから始められたかと思うんです。
So you started your section, I think, from Terawa Katsurano, which is this part here.
なんですが、関西流の場合ですと、立ち入れて峰の雲ですね、一句後から始まることになります。
But with the Kanzenryu school, we actually start one phrase after that.
では、ちょっと実演をしてみたいと思います。
So that's where I'm going to go from in my little performance.
こうなるわけですね。
That's what it sounds like.
ありがとうございました。It was very, very powerful, even even though we're several thousand miles apart, I could still get a real sense of the energy.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
We should also perhaps talk a little bit about movement. I think it's really interesting to hear you talk about the voice as a physical skill, in a sense, that uses your whole body. But of course, your body is also working to manipulate space to be expressive. Could you just talk a little bit about how that's trained and what's important in terms of movement? You've already talked a little bit about spirit, but I guess technique is also important too.
はい。まずそのおのの動きで基本となるのはまず先ほど申しました歩行方法のすり足という方法がございます。それは先ほど申しました通り上半身を動かさないようにということで、私が小さい頃、だいたい10歳ぐらい過ぎた頃からですかね、やっぱりこう厳しく父も言われまして、こうすり足をするっていうのをですね、こう毎日少しずつでもこう舞台を歩くということをしなさいというふうに言われてですね、すり足というのが何よりも基本であるというふうに言われておりました。
Yeah, so as we've said, the basis of all no movement is the suriashi walking. This is the walking that I was talking about, where your upper body stays completely still. And from the age of 10 or so, my father told me that I had to practice this walking on the no stage every day, because this is the basis of everything.
なので少しじゃあすり足をお見せしたいというふうに思います。このカメラで見えるかわかんないんですが。
Let me show you that. I don't know if you'll be able to see it properly, but I will show it.
れですね、どんなに速くなってもこれをキープしなきゃいけないんです。
And however fast you walk, you have to keep the upper body still. Something like that.
It must take many years to perfect. I know my students, when they first see Suriashi, they think, oh, this looks very simple. And then they find that actually, when they try not to move around parts of their body that want to move around, they suddenly realize that it's incredibly difficult.
はい、ですので、お能はすり足も含めた基本技術の習得にですね、30年かかると。一人前になるのに30年稽古しないと一人前になれないというふうに言われております。
That's why they say it takes 30 years to master all the basics of No to become a real performer.
I think we've sort of covered some of the basis, and I want to make sure that we have lots of time for questions. But one of the things I want to ask is that you come from a family with a very, very long lineage of working professionally in Nor. How does that weigh on your shoulders? Do you feel a responsibility for keeping the form alive? And how do you think that Nor can respond to the challenges it faces in the 21st century?
私は実は次男なもので、この能楽の業界というのはやはり武士の業界ですので、基本的には長男が一等相続ということになるので、やはりその次男としてはやはり長男を支えていかなきゃいけない存在ということになります。なので、そういった意味でもその義務感というものはもちろん感じるところでございます。
Well, I am the second son in my family, and because No comes from the samurai world, we follow the same tradition. So the first son is the main lineage of the household, and the second son's job is to support that. And so I do feel responsibility to do that.
またですね、やはり能楽の世界というのは、その能楽師の子供に生まれないとやっぱりこう難しい部分も多くて、もちろん、全く能楽に関係ない方が、能楽師としてプロになるのは可能なわけなんですけども、やはり、いろんなハードルがあってですね、難しいことになっております。
And also in the world of No, it's hard to become a No performer if you weren't born into this world. There are people who do go on to be professional No performers who haven't been born into the family, but it's much more difficult for them.
で、21世紀能はどうなっていくのかということでございますけれども、この能のテーマというのがやっぱりこう世界の平和であったり、子供を思う親の気持ちであったり、人間の普遍的な感情をテーマにしておりますので、時代が変わったからといってそういったものがやすやすなくなってしまうというのは大変になくなってしまうということはないんじゃないかなというふうには思っております。
As for what happens to No now in the 21st century, I think the themes of No theatre are universal. They're themes of longing for peace in the world, themes of parental love for their children, and these are things that I think won't change.
ですけれども、やはり、社会が変わってきて、やっぱりその能のお話の基盤となる昔話を知らない日本人というのは増えてきておりまして、やっぱり能が日本人にとっても縁遠い世界になってしまっているというのは事実でございます。その中で私たちが何ができるのかというのはやっぱり今までは役者であればその能を演じるだけで済んでいたわけですけれども、そうじゃなくってそのお能の魅力を発信するとかいうことをしていかなければいけないというふうに思っております。
But as society changes, the stories on which No is based, so the folk tales that it's based on are becoming less and less familiar to Japanese people, and so in that sense, it's becoming more removed from Japanese people's day-to-day lives. And so whereas in the past no performers could just be performers, now I feel that we do need to also take on the role of explaining to people about No and keeping the interest up.
I'm aware of time, and I'd like to make some time for questions, but before we do that, I was wondering if Takeda Sensei would be prepared to dance and sing for us at the same time. We've seen these two aspects individually, but as I mentioned at the beginning, these are integrated skills, so would it be possible to see them together?
わかりました。じゃあ、先ほど歌わせていただいた部分をですね、少し回せていただきたいというふうに思います。
Okay, then yes, of course, I will chant and add the movements in.
ありがとうございました. That was wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's have a look at some of the questions that people have been sending in. We have about 10 minutes to look at those, so we'll see what we can do. One popular question is, why is the fan so important, and how does it act as an interface with the body?
そうですね、これはやはり日本文化と密接に関わっていると思うんですけれども、多分簡単に言えばスーツのネクタイと一緒だと思います。必ずスーツのネクタイしなきゃいけないですよね。でもあれ何かの役割を果たしているかどうか問題で、扇もそれで、つまり、これを持っているということは礼儀に当たるということが一つ。もう一つは能楽師にとってはこの扇というのは、基本的に刀と同じ扱いになっていて腰に刺しております。
The fan is very closely linked to Japanese culture, I think. It's like wearing a tie when you're wearing a suit. You always wear a tie with a suit, but there's no real point to it. So I think that's part of it. It's partly etiquette. To have a fan, and then also it kind of replaces the sword that the samurai would have used to have.
What is the relationship between an actor and a mask maker? Does an actor, when they commission a new mask, have the opportunity to ask for particular features to be changed, altered, increased for the way they want to perform a play?
ですね、そうやって、指示を出される方もいらっしゃいますけれども、基本的に、表というのはですね、模刻の文化になっています。模刻というのはですね、本面、つまり、本物があって、それに全く同じレプリカを作るというのが表の文化になっています。それはその模刻というのはですね、もう大体1600年代から1600年代ぐらいからですね、もうすでに模刻という文化は始まっていて、 全く同じものをこしらえていくということを、するわけですね。で、全く同じものなんだけれども、作者の力量によってちょっとずつ顔が変わってきたりとかっていうようなことでですね、作られております。ですので、この、全く、ゼロからですね、こういった表情のこういう表を作ってくれという注文はしないことになっています。
Some actors will give some instruction to the mask maker, but basically a mask is a replication. Going back to the 1600s, masks would be made. The whole culture of masks is that a mask is a copy being handed down. They will differ slightly depending on the skill of the craftsman, but you wouldn't set out to tell the mask maker that you want this particular kind of mask with this particular kind of different expression.
Thank you. I'm going to combine two questions here. One is a question why the no stage is designed in the way it is. What does it mean and how did it come to be like that? But also, what does the pine tree, which appears on the back of all stages, what does that signify?
はい、お能は基本的に、三元四方というふうに言って柱が4本あるんですが、その4
So
つ
if
の
you can
柱の
see, there
中
are 4 pillars to the no stage.
で、ヒノキの舞台、ヒノキの木を使っております。
And it's made from Japanese cypress wood.
で、基本的にお能はですね、背景の松が必ず決まっております。これというのは、諸説ございます。一番、ポピュラーな説はですね、興福寺というのが奈良にあるんですけれども、その興福寺、春日大社ですね、春日大社というのは奈良にある神社があるんですが、そこのところにですね、神様の宿る松がございまして、その神様の宿る松の前で、このお能の芸の、先ほどアシュレイ先生がお話になられました猿楽というのは行われていたと。その結果ですね、この松というのが舞台の後ろに背景にできているというふうに言われております。また、
As for the pine tree in the background, there are different theories as to what this is doing here, but the most popular one involves Kasuga Taisha Shrine, which has a pine tree, a big pine tree where the kami of that shrine, that the deities are said to reside in the tree. And the performers would perform sarugaku, which is one of the types of performance on which No was based, that Ashley mentioned at the start. The sarugaku would be performed for the deities in front of the pine tree, and that's one theory as to where the tree came from.
Thank you.
またそのアシュ
We'll
レイ先
make
生の
this
後ろの松もそうですけれども、アシュレイ先生の後ろにある松もそうですけれども、少し段々になっておりますですね。で、この段々のこの枝を伝ってその神様が降りてくるんだと。で、その舞台上にいる役者の頭の上にその神様が降りてきて、その役者がその神になるんだというふうな説もあります。
There is also a theory that if you look at Ashley's pine tree, the one that's behind him in the background, it has branches in layers, and they say that the deity, the kami, would climb down the branches and reside in the performers.
I should actually just mention this is the stage that we have at my university.
これは私の大学にある舞台ですね。
We should just ask one more question. We are out of time. One more question, which is how difficult is it wearing the mask on stage for a long time? Does sweat fall in the eyes, or can you not really see very much? How is that? What is it like to wear the mask?
はい、 そうですね、脳の表というのは昔から伝わっているものなので、自分の顔に合っていないことも多いんです。つまり外から見て、いい格好の場所に表をつけることになります。ですので、全く、外が見えないものもございます。例えば鼻の穴から下だけ見えるとか、天井だけ見えるという場合も多くございます。ですので、やはりじゃあ訳していただいて。
Yes. So the mask obviously has been passed down the generations. It wasn't made specifically for your face. So it's made to look right, not to fit your face. Quite often it won't fit you. You won't be able to see in some cases, or maybe you can only see below your nose, or maybe you can only see above your head. So it's not comfortable.
ですので能舞台というのはそこの部分だけ、盛り上がっているというかステージになってますね。ですので柵がないわけですね。なので足元とか全く見えない状況で舞っておりますのでパッと落ちてしまう人もたまに見ます。なんですけれども、初めて私が表をかけて舞台に立ちましたのが15歳の頃になるわけですけれども、その時に父から言われましたのはですね、目をつぶって100回舞っても100回とも同じ場所に行けるぐらい稽古をしなさいというふうに言われましてですね、全く視界がない状況でも同じ場所に行けるようにと。能舞台というのは基本的には同じ大きさになってますので、そこに行けるようにしなさいというふうなことを言われまして稽古に励みました。
And because you can't see a lot of the time, and because there is no edge, no barrier around the edge of the stage, you will occasionally get a no performer falling off a stage. But to avoid that, my father told me the first time I wore a mask on stage was at the age of 15, and he told me that I should practice with my eyes closed, and that I should practice the same moves 100 times and make sure that I ended up in the same place each time, so that I could do it even if I couldn't see with the mask on.
Well, I think we should draw things to a close, but I'm sure I speak for everybody in thanking Takeda Sensei for inviting us into his house, to his stage, and being so generous in showing us his amazing talent and skill. I think on behalf of all of us, domo arigatou gozaimashita.
Thank you also goes to Ashley, and then also Beth and Jones, who did that wonderful translation as usual. And also the Takeda-san, you are just so wonderful. I learned quite a lot from you, and it was so interesting the way you actually came onto the stage. You always taking that glasses out. And then also changing that different person, wearing put the glasses on, you also come back to the real life, and then taking the glasses off, you go to that no world. It's very interesting. And I hope that you enjoy the entire event today. And I just can't see your faces, but I just want to ask you to put your hands together as I do. And gratitude to all of you who appears on that event today. Thank you so much. And then also lastly, as Daria actually sort of sent a chat to you that we were sending that online questionnaire. So if you just complete that questionnaire tomorrow or day after tomorrow, that would be great. Thank you so much, all of you. And thank you for joining us to audiences. And then I hope you enjoy that afternoon. Thank you. Bye.